Right, because then by 2005, that's when the feds pretty much lined up their cases, and then that's when the raids started to happen.
Right.
30 BMF members were arrested in a relatively short period of time. Stash houses everywhere were raided. $3 million in cash was seized. Southwest T and Big Meech were both arrested. The feds claimed that the BMF was moving 2,500 kilos of cocaine a month throughout the U.S. And then they had a network of 25,000 people that were either BMF members or associates or so forth.
How many members?
I'm sorry?
How many members?
They said in terms of members and associates, 25,000.
Who said that?
Is what the feds say.
That's what the feds. You read that somewhere?
I read that, yeah.
But they only arrested, how many that got indicted and went to prison?
I mean, originally it was 30. I mean, by the time
I was in the first indictment.
Yeah, by the time the dust settled, I think it was closer maybe to 100.
200, yeah.
200, yeah. Yeah, there you go. But it was a mess. Your son gets indicted. And then the feds raid your house.
No, they raided me first. I was in the first 30. I was in the first 30.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, sorry.
I was one of the first women that was indicted. I was in the first 30 in indictment. So while T and Meech were already in county in the holdup, they came and raided everybody. They came to the house and raided me and got me.
Okay. Did you know that Meech and Terry were already arrested by the time they raided you?
Yeah, they had been arrested, I think probably prior, like a week or two. And we were trying to fight to get them out. But talking to the attorneys, they knew, one of the attorneys that I had hired, he was telling me that this is weird, that they're not giving him a bond. Something's about to go down. And so.
Well, and this is one of the questions that were brought up, I think, when Cavario interviewed Meech, was, everyone knew this was probably coming, right? Like people are getting killed, arrests are coming in, there's wiretaps, there's this and that. You guys are sitting on millions and millions of dollars. Was there a conversation between you and Terry of like, hey, listen, let's just go somewhere where there's no extradition with the U.S. Let's just take our millions, take our family, and then just get out of here because we know what's going to come. Well, and when it does come, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I think we had those talks, but we didn't talk about running or doing anything like that. But at the time, you're thinking that, okay, let's just sit back. We're going to sit back. We're not going to make no movements. We're not going to do anything. So you're hoping, I was hoping that it would kind of, because we don't have these scares before, especially me and Terry. We don't have a scare before. And what we did, we just laid low for a while. And it kind of went away. And it was, that was when I was involved. I was living in Detroit. I was in Southfield. And we laid low for a minute. And it kind of just like, okay, went away. So you thinking if you pull back again, this will happen. But I knew that it was too big for this. I'm like, it's just not us now. I don't know what everybody else is doing. So only thing I was thinking was that I hadn't sold drugs in a while, that I wasn't really involved. I was trying to always cover myself to stay out of it. I made it out of the life. Like I said, I've been in that life for a long time. I thought I made it out of the life. But what people don't understand is, or what a lot of people don't understand, they taking everybody now. The girlfriends going, the kids going, everybody can go. And a lot of these girls, they don't even know that anytime you spend anything, you sign for anything, that puts you involved. When you're sleeping with that person, it puts you involved. And yeah, I guess I thought, same thing like with Harold, that I was going to skate through. But once my son and my nephews got indicted, who I raised, I understood. I said, you know what? I did go in prison angry. But when I thought about it, I skate, even if I didn't do anything in BMF life, I was the start of that. I handed them these drugs. So if I didn't get caught for that, I did do something all through my life. So I had to take responsibility, even that my kids were involved. You know, my nephews were my kids. I raised them. So they were involved. So I had to go to prison if I hadn't sold nothing in 2000 because I'm just as responsible.
Right. Right. Because when you get arrested, you were facing a minimum of 10 years to life in prison. Your son gets arrested. He's facing up to 15 years.
No, he was facing up to the same. He was facing up to 20 years. My
Okay.
nephew, everybody was facing a minimum of 20 years.
Right. So, you have to sit here as a relatively young person and say life. You have to get your head around that. And you have to deal with your son dealing with something similar. You have kids, you have a younger son, from Harold, who is still a minor
He
at
was a
this
minor,
point.
yeah.
You have, it's really a mess
Really.
that's happening.